Hello, Desi. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy to welcome you in the podcast sessions. How are you doing today?
Hey, Pavel. Nice to see you again. I'm doing great. Currently at home, as you can see, during the pandemic right now, everybody are locked down. So not traveling much, but let's see. We're hoping for better.
That is unfortunate. Nobody's traveling much these days, but I'm happy to hear that you say great, because most people say, I'm okay, I'm good, thanks. You, but you're great, and I'm also great, and I'm really happy to hear that. Now, before we start, we're going to be talking about Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria. But before we go there, let's learn a bit more about yourself, but not just my viewers and my listeners, but me as well, because I have never met you. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah. And before this call, we had only one call, which was about, 2 years ago. So
something like that.
Somehow we found each other online. I don't even remember how this happened. I saw that you're making tours, or you're keen on traveling. Somehow we connected. Somehow we got into a call. And I know that you really know much and you really like talking. These are the two things I know about you. You like to talk and you know a lot of things. But it's normal, when you like a lot of things, you want to share them. So before we go to Sofia, and we all learn something new, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Well, the interesting part about my life, it's actually that I've been traveling for the last 10 to 12 years. I've been working on a cruise ships as a tour manager, as a concierge, and as well as a program manager. This means that I was doing all the tours. I was dealing straight to the tour guides all over Europe. So we talk about Germany, Hungary, Italy, Holland, Spain sometimes, but mainly Europe. And at some point I just decided that I need something more. And I wanted to come back to Bulgaria and just do some round trip of some undiscovered parts of the country. And I just fell in love, really, with the traditions, with the culture, with the people. People very often look over the fence, they never look back into their own backyard.
The neighbor's grass is always greener.
Yes, exactly. So imagine, after 10 years traveling around Europe, I came back to Bulgaria and I decided to become a tour guide here. And this is me now. Yes, I love to talk. I love to guide people.
So where did you travel in? So what are your top 3 favorite destinations in Europe?
In Europe?
Yes.
I would say Italy, Spain, and Belgium.
Which cities?
Maybe in Belgium, Ghent or Bruges.
Approved? Yeah, no Brussels? Approved here?
No Brussels. No.
Exactly. Okay, let's go next.
And Spain, Barcelona. I really loved Barcelona.
Agree. Have you been to Seville?
10 days there.
Have you been to Seville?
Yes.
Oh, you like Barcelona more than Seville?
Yes.
Because of the sea?
No, because of the feeling that I get over there.
I see.
Because of the buildings, the people. I don't know. I mean, it was just maybe because I had a great company there. And we spent 10 days, which is a lot. So we kind of explored every part of the city. So even the small little streets. And I just fell in love with everything there.
Barcelona is my top. After visiting Seville, they're kind of next to each other. Maybe Barcelona is still a bit more on top, but it is a great city. I agree on that. So approve on that as well. And what about Italy?
Italy, Florence.
Florence.
Yes. I've been all over Italy, almost everywhere, really. But Florence was unbelievable. I had the best experience in my life with my best friend. Her name is Margarita. Mimi. And
Mimi. Hello, Mimi.
Yes, she's, by the way, pregnant right now. So we are
congratulations,
expecting...
Mimi. I know you'll be listening to this. Congratulations.
Yeah, but
it makes me a bit...
time was with her.
It makes me a bit sad that you mentioned Florence, because I don't know if you know that, but I used to dance Bulgarian folklore dances for 12 years. That's from my first grade till my 12th grade. And thanks to that, we visit different countries, going to different festivals. We visited Slovakia, Macedonia, Greece, France, and Italy. And in Italy, so most of the places we were in, not in major cities, but some medium-sized cities. But in Italy, on the way back, we were traveling. So we went to Rome, we went to Pisa, and we were going to go to Florence as well. But it was super hot. It was in the summer. And we, as kids, I don't know how old we were, but we didn't see it as an exploring, you know? We're just like, it's a small excursion. And somebody's asked, shall we go to Florence? It was super hot. And we all said, no, let's go. We saw Venice, we saw Rome, we saw Pisa. Nah, it's enough. Let's go.
Oh, no.
And I'm so sad about this. I mean, if I was there back then, you know, same age, probably I would say the same. Let's go home. Enough. But I feel that I need to visit Florence, because I've heard a lot of good things about that.
You really must.
You travel to all these cities, which are amazing, and then you come back to Bulgaria and you're like, whoa, that's a different story.
That's true. But Bulgaria has its own charm, you know, and especially when we talk about the people. Yes, Spanish people are warm as well. Italians as well. They talk a lot, using their hands mainly. Exactly. But Bulgarians, I mean, come on, we are Bulgarians. So we know our people, we speak our language, and of course, everywhere you go, they open their arms for you, and their homes, their fridges, they put everything on the table for you, especially if you go to the small cities, really, around the countryside.
It's so funny you say that, because as you were talking that we are open, we are warm, I just imagine other people that would say differently. I mean, Bulgarians, you know, they steal, you know, they lie, you know, these things. I even went to Spain. I went to Mallorca and I went to the GP. And then I was sitting and waiting there. And there were a couple of Bulgarians talking in Bulgarian. How is it going? And I'm like, I'm just going to join. You know, I just like to talk to people. So I started talking, and then it's like, we've been here for that many years. And to be fair, all the Bulgarians, they try to drag us down. They try to drag every Bulgarian down. And we don't want to talk to any Bulgarian. We stay away from them. And I'm like, okay, sorry for saying hi. Okay. So the point here is that every nation has good people and bad people. But you, seeing you're that positive, it's no surprise for me to say that, to see that you met nice people. Because if you're positive, you're going to attract positivity. And if you're negative, you're going to attract negativity. So I can say really that there are really nice Bulgarians out there. Let's see Sofia now. So it's a capital. And by the way, about living in Sofia, I've been coming in the past few years every once in a while to Sofia. And to my surprise, I see more and more foreigners going to live there.
That's true.
Absolutely. What is the story with all this? Tell me something.
Well, you know that we're one of the 10 countries around the world with the best internet. And therefore, a lot of digital nomads, you know, they come over here because it's cheap, or let's say affordable, because Sofia, of course, it's a European capital, and you can't really say it's cheap, but let's say it's really affordable.
You complained to me that the beer price has gone up.
But that's right. I mean, come on.
I don't say it's wrong.
In the last, let's say, 5 years, the prices of beer just really went up to 5, 6, even up to 8 level, which is around €4. I would say that's quite a lot.
It is
especially for us Bulgarians, because we are part of the European Union, but as you know, we have our own currency, which is Bulgarian lev, and it's tied to the euro. So one lev, it's 55 cents, or let's say €1, it's almost double in the Bulgarian levs. So it's interesting.
It is so interesting to see foreigners' reaction when they go to Sofia, and it's like, oh my God, this is so cheap. And then they go to a different city outside of the capital. Oh my God, it's even cheaper.
Exactly.
And the people I met there, I haven't met digital nomads, to be fair, in Bulgaria, but there are a lot of outsourcing companies. And there are people that they come with. I met people because the foreigners I met are actually friends now, colleagues to the friends I have. And I'm curious. So I start talking to them. So what makes you come here? Because some of them, they went only with their language, which is either English or Portuguese, and no Bulgarians. And what made you come here? It's like, oh, I found a job before I come here. And, I was able to speak my language. So I just decided to give it a go. And I was like, how do you feel now? Man, it's really nice. It's cheap. I have nature, people are nice. It's okay. So if you're listening now, and if you speak a foreign language, you're looking for a change, to be fair, Bulgaria is quite a nice choice, because in the outsourcing companies, you get a decent salary, better than the most Bulgarian companies. But don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I don't know salaries in Bulgaria.
Okay. Well, I can tell the salaries. I mean, basic salary in Sofia, it's between 1,500 to 1,500 leva, which is about 1,200 euro, something like that.
Basic.
Even less.
Is that
between 750 euro to, let's say, up to 1,200 euro. Of course, IT and digital nomads, they can go up to maybe 4,000 to 5,000 euro a month sometimes. Depends on which company they work for. But Sofia, it's quite cheap when we talk about renting apartment, let's say. A nice, decent apartment, 2-bedroom, let's say, you can find it for 200 to 300 euro a month, which is nothing, I would say.
All right.
Compared to London.
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. London is a different story. Two things are really, really expensive in London, and that is transportation and housing. Right? Rather than that, to be fair, if you go to the supermarket, I'm happy. If you go to local vegetables and fruit markets, I'm happy. But when it comes to housing, oh my goodness. That's why this
And what about transportation?
Yeah,
you just mentioned it's insane.
Okay.
You take a train from the airport in Luton to London, and sometimes it can cost up to £80. This is about 160 level. Which for Bulgarians, it's really, really a lot.
Yeah,
I would say.
You should be careful which trains you're taking. They're cheaper options.
Yes, on a certain time and things like that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Still, if you think for our airport, you can get to the city center by the subway, and it costs you only 1.60 leva. This is about 80 cents.
80 cents.
You can.
That is unheard
80
of.
cents. That's
That is
it.
unheard of. This is sorcery.
And you can even take a taxi, and a taxi would be between 10 and 15 leva, which is about 6-7 euro. That's it.
Okay, so let's see. I arrive in Sofia, and I really love these airports that are connected with the underground system, with the metro. I really love it.
Exactly.
This is quite new, isn't it? 5 years ago?
Yes, in the last few years.
Yeah. There are bus shuttles as well.
Exactly.
Take the bus, and I wouldn't actually recommend to take a taxi, because you may not know which taxi to take.
That's true, and not really, because nowadays you can download the app for, let's say, yellow taxi or taxi me or something like that. You put your credentials inside, and then you order the taxi, and then it gives you all the information. For example, about the driver, about his phone number, how much the cost will be from A to B. So to be honest, we are very good with that now as well.
Well, now, yes, that's good. Because years ago, I used to work in Greece. And then from Greece, it was a seasonal job. I work as an entertainer in a hotel. The season finished. I'm coming back to Bulgaria, and I'm taking the bus from Halkidiki, from Thessaloniki to Sofia. I'm taking the bus, and I don't have experience with Sofia. To be fair, I didn't like Sofia. To me, it was a big city. I want to stay away from it. Listen to the whole story. It's a big city. I want to stay away from it. But life threw me in London, which is a massive city. And after London and after traveling the world, I come back to Sofia and see it with different eyes. So now I like it a bit more. Now, from Thessaloniki, I'm coming back to Sofia. It's late in the evening, 11 p.m. probably. And the bus opens the doors, and I go down. And I go with my suitcase, and I see a gentleman like, let me help you with your bags. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. He's like, would you like a car? Come, I can drive you. I said, oh, what a nice guy. So he invites me, he carries my bags. We went inside and we started driving, and I see like, I was like, isn't this meter going a bit faster than usual? Is that no, it's all normal. And he keeps going, and I'm like, because I don't know where I'm going. I just gave him the address of a friend of mine. And I'm like, how far more? He's like, we're almost there. But I don't know how much I pay, but it was a lot. So it's good that you have these apps now.
Yep. And that's true. I mean, I had also a few times some stories like that. And especially when I pick up a friend from the airport and we speak in English, they immediately think, now I'm going to make some money.
I'm going to make my salary today.
Yeah, exactly. But luckily I'm typical Bulgarian, so I just fight. Exactly. And I say, this is what you're going to get from me, and that's it.
I understand. Okay, so we figured out the transportation. What about housing? So if I come to Sofia and I want to stay somewhere, would you recommend staying in the center so I can be close to the attractions, or go and stay somewhere a bit outside and then travel to the center? What do you think?
To be honest, doesn't matter anymore, because with the subway system, you can get anywhere you want in less than 15 minutes. So even if you decide to stay somewhere outside of the city center, just pick a place where the subway or the metro station is close by. That's all. Otherwise, I would highly recommend to get an Airbnb, some small studio maybe, because you can find it really nice and cheap, and even in the city center. Let's say a night with really nice apartment would be about 30 to 45 euros, something like that.
So you can night. Okay. So let's say you will be two people in the Airbnb.
Two, but you can also find something about 50 euro for up to 5-6 people, let's say. Depends on the location and things like that. It's like in every European city. But I highly recommend the Airbnb, because in the last few years, they really improved the studios, especially in the city center. Plus, you don't need a huge apartment. In the studio, you have everything.
Plus, you won't be staying much in the place anyway. You should be out exploring. Are there any hostels in Sofia?
Yes, there are. And there are some really, really good ones. I'm not going to make marketing now.
That's all right. No problem. Mention everything. You should give to the listeners and viewers everything. Come on, no problem.
Well, one was vintage on a Gladstone 45, something like that.
You even know the address.
Yeah, because I really like that one.
Okay. So wait, you stayed in there?
Yes.
You stayed in a hostel in your
Not
city?
me, but friends.
Okay.
My friends. Yeah, they stayed there. But there is another one. Right now, I can't remember the name, but I can share it with you later on, just in case if somebody asks or something.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
But
Okay.
wonderful hostels, really good hostels, good food. Breakfast, most of the times you can choose, you can include it or not, and things like that.
Okay.
So
speaking of breakfast, before we go to the attractions, last point and probably my favorite ones. What about food and drinks in Sofia?
my God, I have no idea from where to start.
Let's not take 25 minutes here. Let's try and compress it in, let's say, 3 minutes.
Okay, maybe you've heard about yogurt, and most of people, when they hear yogurt, they think about Greece. But the bacteria which is actually needed for the strain of the yogurt, it's called Lactobacillus bulgaricus. It's named after our country, and it's actually found only here in plants and mammals in Bulgaria, and it's exported from here to the rest of the world. So our yogurt, it's one of, not one, but I would say maybe the best one in the world, really. So that's a must. You have to try yogurt. And we have quite a lot of pastries as a breakfast. But these pastries, you can find them around the Balkans in general. You know that we've been under the Ottomans for 500 years, so 5 centuries. Which means that the Turkish food is also part of our food and day life, let's say, things that we would bake or cook. When we talk about sweets, maybe you know about baklava. Have you heard it? You've tried it?
Speaking of Turkish again, yeah, baklava. I have a friend, and we were colleagues before when I used to work in a marketing company, and we traveled together to Bulgaria. And that was his first time in Bulgaria. And he was like, "Oh man, it just looks like Turkey here." And I'm like, "Come, we're gonna have lunch now. I'm gonna show you this place." He's like, "What are we gonna eat?" I said, "We're gonna eat moussaka." He's like, "Oh man, that's Turkish."
No, moussaka, it's Greek.
Yeah, but they have something similar in Turkish. And
that's right.
I
mean, you can't really talk about Bulgarian food. You have to talk about Balkan food.
Balkan, agree on that, yes.
Because Balkans, they like a lot of salads. We eat salad with everything together. So it means that you're not going to get the salad first, finish it, and then order the main course. No, you actually going to have the main course with the salad. Salad, you have it also with the Rakija, with some strong spirits, alcohol like 50-60%.
Whoa, is that what you usually? It's about 40 in my place. You drink it like
14. That's nothing really.
Well, you're next level then. It's gonna be difficult to sit with you on a table. Oh.
Yes, if you ever come to Sofia, I'm definitely gonna take you to Raketa bar. That's a really special restaurant where they have a typical Bulgarian food, and all kind of rakias. I mean, variety. Some of them are like 20 years aged. Can you imagine that?
Nice. Let's just mention that I never heard of this bar, but a Raketa bar means a rocket Rakia bar. So I can imagine after drinking few ones, which are 60-65 degrees strong, you fly in the space.
Yes, and when you just set space next to it, it's their own bar as well, which is called Sputnik.
Well, these people must be very popular there.
Let's see. Why do you think they're called Raketa and Sputnik?
It's something related to communism, I think.
Exactly.
Woo! Do I get any points?
Yes, you get some free bonbons when you get here.
Looking forward to it. Tell us something then. Tell us something about the communism in these places.
I mean, when you enter into the restaurant and the bar, I mean, there are all the furniture and the items that you can see on the walls. They're all related to our own homes. They remind you of what it used to be, how we used to live.
You mean they have home furniture from what the Soviet flats used to look like?
Yes, but not really the furniture, but everything, all kind of items like masks, like a telephone. These old big telephones with the round.
Yeah, I remember, because if you dial number, so it's like if you put 9, you need to go all the way from left to right, and then if you mistake one number, like, I have to start over again.
Exactly. Yeah, that was insane. Really, really. But it's one of my favorite places. I must say. If by any chance some of my friends from Europe, they come over here to visit me, we always go there, because I know that they would really try a very good meat and typical Bulgarian dishes. Plus, they also make cocktails from Rakija.
What?
Yes.
That's gonna be painful.
You know what? My reaction was the same, but actually it was really, really good.
Huh.
Plus, the name of the cocktail usually comes with a card, and on the card you can learn the steps of a typical folklore Bulgarian dance.
Oh, that's lovely. I love this place already. So I'm serious. Say their name again.
Raketa, Rakija Bar,
Okay.
and Sputnik.
Yeah, when I come to Sofia, I would definitely have to go there, because whenever I've been there, nobody ever told me about this place, to be fair. No.
And here I am. You just never asked me.
That's the perk. That's one of the perks of having tour guides in your system. Well done. I'm so happy about that.
I can mention a few other places because I know that nowadays vegans are, let's say, getting more and more.
It's a thing. Yeah.
It is a thing, really. It's a big thing.
Okay.
And now in Sofia, you can also find some vegan restaurants. And one of them is called Soul Kitchen. And it's really one of my favorite places. I am not vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. I love meat. I love cheese and things like that, all the dairy products. But I must say that the first time I went to this vegan restaurant, just to try, you have to try different things. All the food that we've tried, it was just really good. So after that, we went another 2 times. Yeah. Imagine you're eating vegetables and you are dying from pleasure. I know it sounds strange, but
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other places? By the way, before we go to we go further about the yogurt, I met foreigners that I tell them I'm Bulgarian, and they're like, oh, and we talk about Bulgaria, and I tell them all the yogurt, and it's like, every Bulgarian I meet, which usually are not many, every Bulgarian I meet, they say they're proud with the yogurt, and they don't get it. But I'm saying it's true, because if you go there and you try the yogurt, you know what it is. Here, it's not yogurt. It's something spoiled. Cottage cheese.
Exactly.
Totally different.
But that's really totally different. Especially the taste. It's some kind of sweet, and our yogurt, it's really, really sour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're listening this and you're thinking, how different could that yogurt be? It is different. So if you have any Bulgarian stores, Balkan stores, preferably Bulgarian stores in your area, and you cannot travel to Bulgaria, just try this. Invest in some Bulgarian yogurt and let us know. All right, let's move now. So what can we see in Sofia?
Oh my God. I mean, from where to start again?
From the most curious place. The most curious place for you. Something that's like, whoa, is that for real?
If you ever come to Sofia, you're probably going to start your tour from Saint Nedelya Square. And that's the most famous square. Why? Because on one square, you can see 4 different religions, which just proves, how Bulgarians accept every religion around the world. You can see the Christian Orthodox Church. Opposite of it, you can see the Turkish mosque. Then just opposite of the mosque, you can see the synagogue.
Wow.
And then on the same square, there is a Catholic church as well.
Wow. I just Googled because as I told you, I don't know much of Sofia. I just really quickly Googled it, it's in Nedelya Square. Is that the church where the assassination attempt of the king happened?
Yes, King Boris. It was bombed over there.
It was bombed, yeah. I remember, yes, I didn't know this is the name of the square. Isn't this close to the main street, Vitosha?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Very close to the main street of Vitosha. It's also where is the presidency. Tsum, our old, let's say the first city mall in the city. We have a market which is closed right now, but it will be open very soon as well. It's covered, like a grand market hall, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there are a lot of cafes around, shops, everything you need. The Palace of Justice, you're probably going to start your tour from the Palace of Justice. You're going to go to St. Nedelya Square, and then you're going to go underneath the city.
You mean the
because
Roman? Yes, go
right there, yes, it's also the old Roman city, which changed its name several times. The first name was Serdica. I'm not sure if you know, but before Bulgarians arrived to the Balkans, the Balkan Peninsula was occupied by the Thracians. And these Thracians, they had more than 22, some historians, they think that there are around 28 actually tribes, different tribes. And one of the tribe over there was called Serdi. And when the Romans arrived here in the 1st century, they decided to name the city after the tribe Serdi, and it was called Serdica. Just later on, it changed its name to Sredets. Why? Sreda actually in Bulgarian, it means middle. They built a very famous street which connects the east to the west. It's called Decumanus Maximus. And that was built between, let's say, the 2nd and the 4th century. And right now you can walk on it, on some parts of her remains, of course. So it's really, really unique. You can also see the first walls of the city. They were built in the 2nd century. Then later on, they were added another 2-3 layers. You can also see a building from the 4th century, absolutely original. That's the Rotunda of St. George. Another interesting thing that you can see in this rotunda, it's also her frescoes, because it has 3 layers again. And one of them is from the 10th century. So can you imagine that you can see for free original frescoes from the 10th century?
This is, I visited this rotunda, by the way, when I was in Sofia. And this is, if you think about it, indeed, this is mind-blowing, because it's so many years it's been staying there, and you can see it, as you said, for free. And I have a curiosity to add about the rotunda. The rotunda, it's a bit difficult to be found because it's around high buildings, and this was done in communism times, and it was done because they were putting the communism at the pedestal, and the religions were throwing them down. So they would prefer for you not to find the places that you can go and worship. And also, what I found really interesting, they will play, because television wasn't, a big thing. You were restricted. You couldn't watch everything. So they will play, they will broadcast on TV famous movies or programs on Christian holidays. So you have to choose, can I go, and worship, or shall I stay and watch this that I'm probably not going to watch ever again? So that was really fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well, another interesting thing is when you mentioned that it was kind of hidden. in the same square, there is one of my favorite churches, I would say. It's called the Saint Petka of the Settlers. And it's not really unique or something, but it shows actually how the churches were built during the Ottoman rule. It has no windows from outside, no frescoes or anything, because although we were part of the Ottoman Empire, people kept their religion, but with one, let's say, not one but two rules: that if you build a church, it should be lower than the mosque. Mm-hmm. And it should not be attractive to the eye. So that's another interesting building that you can see on the same square.
Good. I love it. Curiosities. I would like to know something, what we can do, see, visit around Sofia. But before that, tell me something more, because these are you said you go to Sofia, these are the first things you'll see.
Oh, there are another two very, very important things.
Which are?
I would say Saint Sophia Church, because our city is named after Saint Sophia Church. Uh-huh. It was the highest building on the hill, so you could see it actually from 40-50 miles away from the city, and it's dedicated to the God's wisdom. However, there are a few things to mention about this building, and it's really interesting.
Oh, because I'm going to lean back here, listening. Go on.
This is something to be curious for. During the Ottoman Empire, the building, Saint Sophia Church, they've tried to turn it into mosque 3 times, but several earthquakes destroyed the minaret. So the Turkish people took this as a bad luck. So they never turned the Saint Sophia Church into a mosque.
Whoa, so they started building it as a mosque and they built the minaret.
No. Saint Sophia Church was a Christian church during the Romans.
Yes. But
during the Roman times.
But then
after that, when the Bulgarians were here, it was used as a Christian Orthodox church. And after that, when the Ottomans arrived, they decided that they have to turn it into a mosque.
Yes. And
but 3 times the minaret fell.
And then they start building, and then there are 3 earthquakes that ruined this.
Yes. Wow. Yes. The minaret.
Wow.
So that's really interesting. Plus, there is another story about Saint Sophia. She's a little known in the Christian religion. She used to live in the 1st century. And it was, during the Roman times, she secretly accepted Christianity with her 3 daughters. But when they tried to send her away, even actually to turn her religion again back to the real one, they've killed even her 3 daughters in front of her eyes, and she still refused to change her religion. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's another story behind the name of Saint Sophia.
All right. Oh, many stories. Okay. I noticed that we talk mainly about churches. So is there something else to see in Sofia except churches?
Yes, but before I do that, I wanted to tell you about the UNESCO World Heritage Site, because many people, they come to different countries and they really want to see these unique places. And one of them is just another church. Yes, and it's called Boyana. But the interesting thing over there is that some of the frescoes, especially the fresco of Tsarica Desislava, and I'm named after her, and Tsarka Oyan, these frescoes were made 200 years before Michelangelo started the Renaissance in Europe. So a lot of historians, they say that actually the Renaissance started from here, from Boyana Church. And they still don't know who is exactly the artist who painted it. So beautifully and unique, really, because you can see even the expressions on their faces. And before that, most of the frescoes and the faces, they were with no emotions.
Wow, that is curious. You see, that's another good thing to know, stuff like that, because if I never been to Boyana Church, but if you go to Boyana, for example, you're like, oh, okay, these are nice frescoes, that's interesting. But it's always good to know that type of facts. Okay, something else except church.
Something else. I mean, you have to know that we have a lot of concerts over here. So different bands are coming from around the world to perform here. Plus, it's quite cheap. So even foreigners from England and Germany and Austria, sometimes they fly to here only to listen to some of the bands over here, just because it's cheaper. The tickets are cheap, the places to stay are cheap, and now with all these low-cost companies, you can fly for 30-40 euros sometimes from Vienna or from London straight to Sofia. So you better check the calendar, of all the concerts. If you like opera or theater or something like that, a lot of musicals are performed here as well. Just recently, I watched Les Miserables. Les Mis. Okay. As you know, in London, that was really my favorite thing that I've watched there. And I was impressed because the quality here was really, really good as well. And we are improving with every year. So concerts, theaters, musicals, everything is just really going in the right direction nowadays.
And I'm really happy to hear that. There is also a mountain just next to the city.
Oh yes, Vitosha mountain. If you like ski, for example, and snowboard, definitely, yeah. I mean, it is in the city. It's about 20 minutes by car to get to, not to the top, but let's say in the middle, and then you can just walk up. A lot of hoods there, but I wouldn't recommend to stay really in the mountain. Just take a cab, and that's it.
All right. What about in the area? Can I do a day trip to some place locations? What
definitely.
What would you recommend?
Day trips. Well, except Rio Monastery, which is another church.
I can say I've done it. Yeah, it's a really nice, spectacular place, and you can do that in even half a day. Maybe you can combine it with something else. But what are your recommendations? Oh, but okay, let's say something really, really, really briefly about Rio Monastery. Can you share something?
Well, but really just a little bit.
Yes.
Because then I need to talk again about religion.
Another subject. Okay. Let's just scratch the surface here.
Well, I'm going to just say something that it might be curious for you.
Let's go.
And that's that the name of Rio Monastery, it's named after Saint Ivan of Rio. Or in English, that's Saint John. And we call it let's say our Buddha, because he was the person who decided to isolate himself into the woods and decided to live in a cave. And he used to say that the sky is my roof and the ground is my bed, and my food is all the plants and everything around me. So basically, he had the followers, and these followers later on established the monastery in honor to him.
After he died?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, he didn't see the monastery, unfortunately.
No.
Okay, but it's one of the...
For him, it wasn't important, the monastery. It wasn't important, church or anything. Basically, he says the same thing, like almost every religion says it, that you don't need to go to a special place to feel, the energy or God or however you call it. but you just have to think about it. It's in you.
It is safe to say that this is the most famous monastery in Bulgaria.
It is, yeah.
And it's close to Sofia.
Yes. So you can basically do a day trip to Boyana Church and Rivo Monastery in one day.
Okay. What about the other days? What else you can see in the area?
Well, then I would highly recommend Plovdiv, because Plovdiv is one of the oldest cities in the world, and the oldest continuously inhabited city in Europe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is it really?
Yes, it is.
This continuously? What does that mean?
Actually,
that it didn't change its name, or what do you mean by that?
Last year, Plovdiv was chosen for the European Capital of Culture.
Yes.
Maybe you know that.
Yes.
It's not about the name or, yes, of course, Plovdiv and all the other cities like Sofia, Veliko Trnovo, and etc., they've changed their names over the years, mainly because the Romans were here, then later on the Bulgarians, then later on the Ottomans, so you can imagine. But the important thing over there is that you can see in the old town our typical national revival architecture, and the buildings and the houses are so beautifully painted in all the colors of the rainbow. It's really something special, I would say. Plus they have a very nice neighborhood called Kapana. Kapan in Bulgarian, it means the trap. But it's not a tourist trap or anything. No, you mainly gonna see actually people from Plovdiv there, gathering together, drinking beer, eating meat and things like that. So barbecue, of course.
I actually used to live in Plovdiv for probably 3 months, and I agree, it's a really nice city. Plovdiv, Veliko Trnovo, and Varna, these are the.
Yes, but they're just quite far. That's all. You can't do Veliko Trnovo in a day. You must take at least 2 days. But something else just to mention, because I forgot, it's about Plovdiv and the ancient theater. Maybe you've seen it as well.
Yes.
You can see original ancient theater from the Roman times, from the 2nd century. So that's something really, really unique.
And am I mistaken that there are still performances there?
Oh yes. Yeah, concerts all the time throughout the year, all kind of concerts.
Well, even in winter.
Even last year, plus we do some kind of rock festivals around the city. And
you say we? You mean we Bulgarians?
We Bulgarians.
Okay. I thought for a moment you were involved in the concert of the organization somehow. You got
Unfortunately not, but I would love to.
Okay.
You should definitely search for the rock festival on the hills. It's called On the Hills. And Scorpions or Sting and singers and bands like them, they just perform over here. And mainly in Plovdiv.
That is curious indeed. So, okay, you can do a one day Rila Monastery and Boyana, get some religion. You go one day. Is one day enough to travel to Plovdiv, see it around, and then go back?
Yes, I would say so.
Oh, okay.
Of course, you can spend there 2 days, let's say. Mm-hmm. But if you want to see more of Bulgaria, then I wouldn't say to stay in one place more than 1 day.
Approved again. So tell me a third and last location, somewhere outside Sofia. What can you do?
Oh, then if you really want to get off the beaten track, I really recommend Belogradchik Rocks and visit Magura Cave.
Oh, is that okay? Because now look, I am from Razgrad, which is the northeast part of Bulgaria, which is far away. I am really sad that I haven't explored much Bulgaria, truly. And then every time now I go back to Bulgaria, I see something new. It's in my plans now. I haven't seen the Belogradchik Rocks because they're super far away from me. When I used to live back in Bulgaria, I'm from Razgrad, but I used to live in Varna, which is even further away.
Absolutely.
Now, from Sofia, can you do the cave and the rocks in one day?
No.
Oh,
I mean, you can, because there are certain travel agents that they offer one-day trip to there.
no, let's
But
say
I
rent a
wouldn't
car.
recommend it because it's about 4 hours drive one way. So how much you're going to see from the Belogradchik rocks, from the castle, and how much time you're going to have actually in the cave. And in the cave, you can actually see drawings, that prehistorical drawings, that they're almost 42,000 years old.
Oh my God, I just Googled it. Everyone who's listening, Magura Cave, go Google this. This is astonishing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And now they're doing some changes inside because at some point it was open for everybody. And of course, some people, they just would like to leave their signature or their name on the walls, which is awful. Mm-hmm. And now this year they decided to close it and then cover some of the drawings because they're really, really unique. So I'm pretty sure that maybe next year it will be open for everybody again.
Okay, I didn't know about this cave, to be fair. So Magura Cave 1, and what about the rocks? So you told us something about the cave. What about the rocks?
The Belogradchik rocks are, I mean, I call them the rock people. What? And there is a beautiful fortress, which is actually done into the rocks. I mean, it's together with the rocks. They use the rocks as a natural walls. Okay. So if you Google Belogradchik rocks, Google the fortress, because it will amaze you, really.
So now I'm just checking on the map that from the Belogradchik fortress to the Magura Cave is just half an hour driving. So can you just go to the fortress and then sleep over in the night? And then drive to the cave, and then the next day go back to Sofia.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. I would highly recommend it. Plus, there is a small eco village over there, and one of the tour guides, which is doing Magura Cave, and he's excavating, and I mean, let's say, making his own lectures about the drawings. He just started doing his lectures in this village, and you can rent a house over there. It's how to say? It's like from the fairy tales, to be honest.
Well, so what do you mean?
Google Eco Village Belogradchik or something like that. And then it should pop up.
What? Okay, so this is the name of the village that your friend is.
No, I mean he's doing everything over there. He's talking about Magura Cave. He's talking about the rocks. He can take you around some eco paths. I mean, just trails. If you like to walk, let's say for a few hours, he can show you other caves, some. Interesting spiritual places if you believe in energy. Mm-hmm. Also, he found in the forests and in between the rocks some strange altars, let's say.
He found them.
Yep.
Oh, so he's an explorer as well.
Absolutely.
I can imagine him with the big hat and with the machete slicing the bushes.
Name is Kirillov.
Classic.
So just remember that name because he can help you a lot if you want to see more about the Belogradchik rocks and the Magura Cave.
Okay. Can you send me? We can add it to the description. His name, his village, where he is, and if he has information, that would be great. Like
Absolutely.
like a website or something. Okay, perfect. It's a deal. Let's add it to the website, to the description. Okay. So that is fascinating. Me, myself, I want to do that because now I have. Next time I go to Sofia, I'm going to spend a few days again there. And last time I visited the Rotunda Monastery, and then I went to central Bulgaria to travel more. But now, probably the next trip I'll do is this Belogradchik Fortress and the Magura Cave.
Don't forget to call me. We can go together.
Yes, and we're gonna go to Rakija Rocket Bar.
Raketa Bar. Yeah, definitely.
This one. Okay.
But really, I mean, Belgrade Rocks, it's never enough. I mean, I can go there every weekend, to be honest. It's such a beautiful place. Plus, really, in the restaurant, you can eat with drinks for, let's say, €5 to €6.
Exactly. That's what we said at the beginning of the podcast. We said that, foreigners go to Sofia and it's like, oh my God, it's really cheap. But then they go outside of Sofia like, oh my goodness, it is really cheap here. So the further you go away from the big cities, the less you have to spend.
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we finish, I would like to hear some interesting stories. Do you have some stories to share with us? Something peculiar, interesting, curious, wowing, something like, I know you've been showing people around as well. Something like, we went to real monastery to show them. And then once we went out to the monastery, the bus was gone. There was no bus. So we had to stay there for overnight or something like that. Is there something similar that you can share with us?
Well, not in Bulgaria. I never had, really, I have to be honest, I never had problems here in Bulgaria. But I do have had problems around Europe when I was doing my trips in Germany and Austria. And sometimes really, I mean, the bus would not wait for the tourists and things like that.
Especially in Germany. It's on the minute. It's on the minute. You're late, you're gone. That's it.
Exactly. I have funny stories with the cruise ships because sometimes I was left behind with people and from United States and you can imagine
tell us one funny story. Tell us one funny story.
Me? I'm sorry?
Tell us one funny story.
That was really funny actually because we had to leave. And somehow the tourists were thinking that we were going to leave about 4 o'clock, but the ship had to leave at 2 o'clock. So they left me behind to wait for them and find them. So then later on we had to take a taxi to another city and the ship had to dock in the middle of nowhere just to pick us up. So things like that, they happen. And it's funny, but I mean, in this situation, you meet different people. You meet drivers, you meet people in the restaurant helping you, or you might be hungry or something. They just give you some water and things like that. So I'm sure that in Bulgaria, if something like that happens, then definitely people will try to help you. I have one story actually, but it's not, I just remembered now. It was a lady that she was writing on a Facebook under one article of my friend, and she's a blogger, old lady, really wonderful person, Barbara Weibel. I just want to mention her site because if people really like to travel with their backpack only, then they can really get a lot from her blog. It's Hoeing the Donut. Okay. Because she used to say that she felt strong from outside but really empty from inside.
Okay.
And like the donut, you know. So we were writing with each other, and then under this article, this girl, she just said, oh, by the way, I'm in Bulgaria, but I'm traveling during the night from Varna, so I'm arriving in Sofia about 3 o'clock a.m., so after midnight. And she was asking if it's safe to wait on the central station until she gets to the apartment, because she needs to check in into the apartment around 11 o'clock. So then I decided just to go and pick her up because I'm 5 minutes away from the central station. So I just wrote her, by the way, I'm 5 minutes away from you, so if you want, I can come at 3 o'clock in the morning, pick you up, then you can take a shower at my place, then I can make some pancakes and we can just talk about Bulgaria. And she was just amazed. She was, my God, this never ever happened to me. Somebody to come during the night just to pick me up from somewhere, who doesn't know me at all, never seen me or anything. But we had a great conversation and great one day together. So even now we are in touch with each other.
So wait, so she posted that on her Instagram or Facebook?
No, on Facebook, under article that I was reading from my friend.
Okay. And then you go to her profile and you see that she's asking people if it's safe? Or
no, she was writing under the article that she Bulgaria.
She wrote under.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the article was about Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
And she was writing, by the way, I am in Bulgaria right now, and da da da.
So what made you do that?
Because that's who I am. Typical Bulgarian. If we can help, we will.
Typical smiley, positive person. Well done. Well, I assume that because she's backpacking and she's seen a lot of people, probably that wasn't too shocking for her, but it's really shocking what you did, and it's really admirable. Well done. I'm so proud that you're Bulgarian. Well done.
Yay!
So you keep in touch. Where is this lady from?
From the United States.
Oh, she's American. Oh, I'm so happy when I meet Americans that know where Bulgaria is. I'm so happy about that.
Well, I had another story as well with two Australian girls.
I thought you don't have stories. They keep coming up now.
Yes, I just remembered now again.
Okay. What is it?
Actually, now when I call my mom and when I say, by the way, would you like to come in the morning and make some pancakes? Because I just got at home with some other strangers. And she's like, oh my God, Desi, you're the only person who can do that. So I just pick somebody from the streets and bring him home. Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I was traveling from Budapest to Sofia with the bus, and these two lovely girls. One was, I would say, maybe in her 20s, like say 21, and the other one was 23 years old. And they were traveling around Europe for several months. So they just started asking about how to get to Plovdiv. They had to go to some concert, but they had to wait in Sofia for a few hours for their friends because their friends were coming by plane. And they were just wondering what to do, where to stay, because we were arriving really early in the morning.
Like,
about
why don't you stay in my place?
Yes. But that's really true. And I said, you know what? You're going to come to my place. You can again take a shower.
We can have some pancakes.
Nice breakfast.
So, air, bed, and breakfast at Desi's. Breakfast, pancakes. Shower is included. Bring your own towel.
Well, I can actually give you even towels.
Okay, so how long they stay in your place? Was it just for the day until they find something, or
just for the day because they were waiting for their friend? Plus, I just took them on a small tour around the city, and I brought them to my favorite place for ice cream, confetti, and that was it actually.
I see.
So even now, again, we are in contact with them.
That's lovely. It's always nice to keep in touch with people like that. I did couch surfing only once in my life. I usually travel with other people, and I went to Helsinki and I found a guy. I just created an account, and it's so weird. Somebody creates an account and jumps in your messages. Hey, do you mind if I stay in your place? And this guy has no reviews, but this guy, his name is Tony. Really impressed by him. He saw my YouTube videos and was like, look, I see you have no reviews, but I saw your videos. I know what you're like. Why don't you just come and stay in my place? And I'm super happy I met him because he actually knows history. He was walking with me. He was telling me. I made him some moussaka. I gave him, I snuggled some rakia in my luggage. So I gave him some rakia. He cooked reindeer meat for me. it was fantastic time. So these travel buddies, in a way, they're really good companions. And
exactly. Isn't it beautiful?
It is
when something like this happens. It just shows you that the world is still good.
Yes,
and it has more good than bad.
Oh yeah. And again, whatever you look for, that's what you're gonna find. So if you look for good, you're gonna find good. But if you're all negative and you look for negative, it's no surprise you're gonna find negative. And that's what happened with me. What happens with you is, this is, for me, is the magic of traveling, because many people will travel just to take the picture and, you know, buy the magnet for the fridge. Hi, look, I've been to Rome. But this, actually, when you connect to other people, it's the true magic for me.
Exactly.
Well,
and I'm truly honored that I've met you as well. So
you haven't met me yet.
That's right. Not in Rio.
You will never meet me before we go to Rakija Rocket Rakija bar.
Okay.
This will be our point where we're gonna escalate. I'm so happy we had this talk. We learned, including me, we learned a lot of things, and it was a true honor to have you on this episode. Is there something else you would like to add before we go?
Oh, just come to Bulgaria, guys, and call me when you are here.
Call her, because she'll make you pancakes, and you can and you can shower at her place. Oh, you made such a big ad. All you need now is to put one sign in front of your door. Come for pancakes. How do you eat your pancakes, by the way?
Oh, with as a typical Bulgarian, with lots of cheese and sweet. I mean, I love the jelly. I put the jelly or the honey or whatever, and I put a hard white cheese on the top.
White cheese on the top with the sweet. Now that is bizarre. That is bizarre.
Oh, come on. You're Bulgarian too, so you should have tried it.
No, I haven't. You can eat it maybe with cheese, yeah, but mix it with the sweet. I mean, there are all types of things and all types of people. I met people who eat watermelon with white cheese.
There you go. I do it as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. You sound like you're going to do it. I prefer pure watermelon. Just watermelon, just like that.
Oh, don't be boring.
What about watermelon and bread?
I love it.
Oh my God. There's something you don't eat. You take all the strange things. You know, talking about eating, by the way, I traveled to Asia just in Bali and Dubai. But I always wanted, well, not always, but I wanted to have a road trip with Vietnam, Cambodia, and these countries. Probably I'll do that next year. We'll see. But I was thinking, just before Corona, whenever I do that, because I knew that at some point probably I'm going to do that trip. And I was thinking, when I do this trip, I'm going to try everything from the street markets, you know, scorpions and all these things. But now with this Corona thing, I'm more like, let's think about it.
You know that I was just recently now in February, I visit Vietnam and Cambodia.
In February, just before the lockdown.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Actually, I just arrived here on the 13th of March and they closed everything.
Oh, I imagine you're the last person. Come on, everybody else. Okay, that's it. Close the doors, guys. Close the doors. They close the border behind you. That would be so cool. Imagine you will be stuck there now. 3 months in Vietnam. How would you feel?
The nature is amazing, beautiful, really. But the food... I can survive on their food maybe for a week or 10 days, maybe 2 weeks.
Wow.
But that's it.
Why?
I mean, I'm not a really big fan of noodles anyway. And they eat the noodles with everything. And you know what? How they do the soup, which is really weird. It's like they just put the bowl and they add the noodles, and then after that they just keep adding, you know, vegetables, but they are not cooked for hours.
What,
or
the vegetables?
Yeah, I mean meat and vegetables and everything and all the spices. They just put everything together at the same time, so it's not really cooked. So you get the flavor, but it's really not my thing, to be honest.
So what?
But in Cambodia,
Yes,
I've tried the deep fried. Wait a second. What was the name of these bugs? Well, I've tried all kind of bugs.
Cockroaches.
Yeah.
Deep fried
Stuff
cockroaches.
like that. And a small little frogs.
Oy. And
Oy.
how was it?
Well, they're really, really deeply fried. So I don't know. It was like eating a chips, to be honest.
Do you know there are some videos that are circulating on internet now? Probably they are done before, but people are eating live animals, like live octopuses.
No, I haven't tried it. And to be honest,
I don't think I'm gonna try it.
Not really fan of it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Although I also try new things, but I think this is wrong. It's, although, you eat meat, you kill the animal, okay, but to eat it alive, it's a different story. Anyway, we are going in a
different direction.
Exactly.
Yes.
Totally different direction. Okay, well, thank you so much again for joining. It was a real pleasure. Everybody who's listening, just go refer to the links to the description for more information. And I will see you in the next episode. Desi, thanks so much for joining. I wish you a fantastic day.
Thank you so much, Pavel. Really, it was my pleasure. And I hope to see you soon.
Definitely. Bye.
Bye.